Hello everyone, Pastor Lon here, Homesteading Pastor. Here on Harmony Acres Homestead in Hartsville, South Carolina. I hear my beautiful wife, Robbie Lynn. I want to welcome all of you to our next Come Sit a Spell episode. I got several things we want to talk about tonight, and before we get into our topic, first of all, I'd like to let everybody know again, I shared it in my last devotion, but appreciate your prayers. As you can see, Robbie Lynn is back to 100%.
I'm back. I feel like a new person.
Amen. I'm sure glad to have my helpmate.
Like the Frosty when he melted and came back to life.
Oh my!
Anyway, that part of that week, I just don't even hardly. It's just
that was a tough stomach virus for sure. But her and Gavin and Michaela, all three had it, but Robbie Lynn had it the worst. And knock on wood, so far, thanks to y'all's prayers, Corey and Bradley and myself, so far hadn't had it. So that's the way it's been about every household around here.
Everybody don't get it.
Yeah, a husband or a wife and a kid or two would get it, and the other ones wouldn't. So,
like I told you, it's like a alien gets inside your body and in your stomach and just explodes and just causes havoc
and starts flowing both ways.
I mean, even after I had quit,
throwing up and running off and stuff.
I guess because I lost so many nutrients, I wasn't putting nutrients in, and what is that? Is it potassium?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, for 2 nights after that, I couldn't sleep because cramps in the back of my thighs and stuff. It was so bad I couldn't even hardly bend over. They were aching so much. So he got me a bunch of bananas, and I started eating bananas and eating a little bit of peanut butter and stuff. And
hey,
thank God I'm back. I'm still not going crazy with eating. It's still eating kind of bland, but I want to.
We got through it. I tell you, that was a rough time.
Yeah. During that time, I had to keep the door shut. I couldn't even smell him brewing coffee or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing smelled food-wise. I don't know what I'd have done without him. He was right by my side. He didn't leave me. All I had to do was holler. I'd knock on the wall, and here he come. He took off of work 2 days to I don't know what we'd have done without it though, because I couldn't have took care of Bradley and Michaela on my own.
No.
Couldn't even take care of myself.
And Corey was in and out working, and Gavin was down sick too, and of course Bradley couldn't help. So
he was constantly bringing me a wet cloth, or if I was in the bathroom, he was right there. What can I do? And I told him I really appreciate it.
But she would have been doing the same thing for me. So that's
when you really appreciate your spouse, is when you down and can't do nothing. And he was doing the house chores the best he could, and taking care of the kids and me.
And animals.
So.
Yeah. But
hey, I'm back.
Amen. I'm glad of that.
I told my boys the other day, I started Monday or Tuesday, I started in our bedroom, and I said, I'm getting all this sick germs out of here. I scoured everything down and went from my bedroom. I told them, I said, I'm back, and I'm starting in my room and coming to y'all.
And man, she cleaned our room and put new sheets on the bed. And
well, I do that anyway.
I know, but I'm talking about since the sickness though.
I'm just moved, you know how I was almost like spring cleaning.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel good because I feel better and my house is cleaner. And
I was praying for several things. I was like, mainly that my helpmate was sick, and I didn't like seeing her sick like that, and my kids, but mainly her being sick like that, it hurts me when she's sick like that. And another thing was, I was praying, Lord, don't let that come to me, because if it knocked Robbie Lynn down tough as she is, boy, it probably wipe me out. You know, us men not as strong when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I don't get sick very often, but when I get sick, I do it good.
You go all out, don't you? But glad it worked out the way it did, because you even said that it hit the weekend after Corey and Austin's wedding. If it had hit the weekend before,
you had to go without me.
I'd have had to go without her, and then I wouldn't have wanted to leave her.
Because I wouldn't have nobody to take care of her.
I couldn't. I don't know what we'd have done. Well, hey, the Lord worked it all out.
We didn't have to worry about it.
Didn't have to worry about that. But and he worked it out where both of us didn't go down at the same time. That would have been a mess too.
And all the kids didn't get it, because Michaela was kind of over hers by the time I got it, and then Gavin had already started with his. But anyway, everybody's doing good.
Everybody's well. I just want to let y'all know that, and thank you again for your prayers. And like I said before, I want to share that with you, and also before we get into our little topic tonight, we got some mail we want to share with y'all. We're gonna wait till we're gonna have a Lord willing, we're gonna have a Monday night chat. You know, every other Monday night we have our live chat on that. We're not sure about the live because I forgot that I'm in revival.
Next 2 weeks.
Yep, this coming Monday night and the following Monday night and Wednesday night and Friday night. So anyway, we'll get straight on that. But speaking of revival, I know the one at Temple, the one that where I'm be preaching April 4th, 6th, and 8th, I'll be live on Temple's YouTube channel, the church, and their Facebook. And I'm gonna try to have our camera set up where it'll be live on ours as well. But we'll remind you all that when it gets a little bit closer. But anyway, we want to show you some mail. We won't get into the mail.
I'm enjoying my tea.
That's
another thing. I didn't drink a cup of coffee for just till today.
Yeah.
The first coffee.
Well, we came home from church last Wednesday night, and that was the last time she ate anything. A week to today. Last time she drank or ate anything, and she didn't eat anything else until late Friday evening. Right?
Chicken noodle soup.
Yep. But anyway, thank the Lord, she's much better now. So, we got some mail from our some of our subscribers, and the first one we'll talk about is from Mr. Tom and Miss Sherry Wilson from Coffeyville, Kansas.
Coffeyville.
Now, we would have shared this, like I said, on our live chat, but because it's got Reese's Buttercup for Bradley, Skittles, and more Skittles, and more Skittles for Michaela.
Sissy.
Yep.
If she finds them, she's not going to wait.
And 2 packs of these.
We figure we
give Corey and Gavin a pack of those apiece. Then for Robbie Lynn and myself, get this. We got, look at there, Dunkin' Donut coffee.
Flavor coffee. Oh, that's original. This is for the
French vanilla original.
Grid down coffee.
Yep, grid down coffee.
I can't wait to try these flavors.
What is that? Caramel.
Caramel
Me crazy. Yeah.
And this is chocoholic pancake.
Chocoholic pancake. That sounds addictive. And then
this is
and what was neat about it, they had a little note on each one of them for Bradley and Michaela.
Toasted almond peanut brittle red grape. I guess it's a medium roast. It's from Sunflower Soda Fountain, Coffeyville, Kansas.
Wow. And you see that, better read that one.
And this is that's ground, but this is the beans, and this is Coffeyville from the Midwest heart of coffee, the story of headliner signature blend. And these are the beans. And they came from right there in that little town where
right there where Mr. Tom and Miss Sherry's from. And we really, really appreciate it.
I love coffee and I love different flavors. I like to try the flavors.
And like I said, they had a little note on it for Bradley and Michaela, and we read it, and really.
I opened it while Lon was in the other room, and he came in and he said, "What's wrong with you?"
She was all.
I said, "Look at what these people gave us, and they don't even know us."
Yeah, she was teared up, got very emotional, and rightfully so.
Yeah, this says, "Thank you, Michaela, for teaching us the joy of the Lord with your smiles and sounds." That's for Michaela.
Thank y'all very much, Mr. Tom and Sherry.
And then Bradley says, "Thank you, Farmer Bradley, for your wonderful stories that fill our hearts with the blessings of the Lord. Hope to hear more stories." And we are going to get him to read some more stories.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to try to incorporate Bradley in more of our videos. He loves to talk like his daddy, so I will get good use out of it. And then the other thing right there.
Mr. Tom
handmade that himself.
And I had a little note on it. It says, "To Robbie Lynn, hot plate made with love by Tom Wilson." It's got the date, and I kept the little heart.
Wasn't that nice? We really do appreciate it, Mr. Tom. That's some fine woodwork right there. Thank you very much.
And I won't read their card because I don't know if they really want us to, but they sent us a nice little card full of writing. I love to read cards and a little picture of themselves with a little note on the back.
Yeah. We really, really appreciate it. Very much so.
I had just thought when I opened it, before I opened the card, I was thinking I'd love to know, put a picture with the name.
And then we opened that card, and there y'all's picture was. So we thank you for sending that. Cool.
Anything hot?
Very nice.
Well, you can put cold stuff on it too.
Well, that's true.
But it's made, that's what it's made for, to catch a hot plate, like when you're taking them out of the oven and stuff.
And this?
Yep, that's, I don't know if it said.
I'm assuming that's.
It didn't say who this was for, but Lon's going to put it in his office.
It didn't really say who this was for, but I'm going to claim it as the preacher. I'm going to put that in my office out back. But I really do appreciate that, very much so. Thank y'all again very much. Really appreciate it. Again, we appreciate Mr. Tom, Miss Sherry Wilson very much from Coffeyville, Kansas.
Then I got some more mail from Jason and Jesse from the Wright family homestead in Potosi, Missouri, right?
Yep. We're going to go with that, Potosi.
I got some sunflower seeds and some zinnia seeds. Man, if you price sunflowers
they out the roof.
Sunflower seeds like for animals and stuff.
And then the sunflower seeds.
And a nice little card and stickers. One is their
not good, you can see this.
One is their homestead sticker, and then the other one is, I can't remember the name of that disease.
Yep. Wright Family Homestead. I'll leave their link below as well. Appreciate that. Wright Family Homestead. We really do appreciate the seeds and the stickers and the card. Just really appreciate y'all as well as Mr. Tom, Miss Sherry Wilson thinking enough of us to send that stuff in the mail. Really means a lot. That's why Robin got so emotional, because it does mean a lot. You know, you'll never. I smell that way over here.
There ain't nothing like smelling coffee. I'm doing the grocery store. I got.
Yeah, we better move on with this. She's gonna be that high on that coffee, snorting that coffee over there.
In the thing and smelling the fabric softener.
Yeah.
I'd rather smell the coffee.
But back to what Robin said, that Mr. Tom, Miss Sherry said, that's true that they don't have a lot of like-minded people where they are, and they really appreciate like-minded people like us and a lot of the like-minded people on this channel. So we appreciate y'all being here, every one of you, and we appreciate y'all communicating back and forth with each other as like-minded people.
Now let's get back to the...
Well, I'm gonna probably talk about this on the live whenever we have the next live.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna just briefly mention this, just so you know. The Lord was really watching over Robin and I all the way up to Georgia, all the way to Brasstown, and all the way back home to the homestead.
You know how we talked about going through Atlanta? This makes it
Talladega and Daytona style, and running 75, 80 mile an hour, 7 lanes on each side like we shared with y'all, and up those steep terrains, and up Miss Tippernham's driveway and back down. And
up to the wedding was kind of
to the wedding. It
not
was just
all the way, but a steep
mountains and valleys and curves and speed and just
I mean, you're going 80 right beside an 18-wheeler and stuff like that. I mean,
so
before we left though, you remember Brother Suggs, we all joined the hand, and I remember him saying put angels on their bumpers.
Yep.
That flashed in my
I just thought about I just remembered that when you said that.
It flashed in my mind when
the Brother Suggs, Johnny Suggs and Sister Janice Suggs that stayed here and kept Brad and Michaela with Corey and Gavin while we were gone up to Brasstown. We prayed in the house. We all joined hands, and I just thought about, just remember that when she said that. He prayed, Lord, watch over us. He said, Lord, put angels on the bumpers of that truck.
That stuck out in my mind when he prayed that.
Yeah, and he did. Because when we drove back home, everything was fine. I told you I had some work done to the truck, and had work done to the truck where we've had work done to the truck, Robert's car, Corey's truck,
tires and stuff.
My brother, my daddy, a lot of people in the community. I mean, good, reputable people. Never had any issues with any work that these guys have done for us in the past. But when we got back home, I parked the truck that Sunday evening.
We drove it Wednesday night to church, me and you. Remember, it was raining.
We did, didn't we? Forgot about that. Okay. So Sunday night, we parked it. Sunday we got here, we didn't drive it anymore till Wednesday night. Robin and I drove it straight to church and back. And then it stayed parked again until she was sick Sunday, so I went to church by myself. and I drove it to church. When I pulled in the church parking lot, which is about 25 minutes from here, when I pulled in there, went to turn into our regular parking place, the truck kept sliding like it wanted to go forward, wanted to go straight. I let off the gas and then it turned on in there, and got out and looked at it. And one of my church members had stopped, had gotten there at the same time. We went and looked at it, but the front tires, one was looking at the other. What had happened was they didn't tighten the lock nut on the tie rod end, and one of them on the driver's side, the nut came all the way off, and the tie rod end was hanging down, which is the tie. Most of you, if you know anything about mechanic work, the tie rod is what turns the front tire when you turn the steering wheel. Well, it came loose and let that tire turn in, and the other one was turned the way it was supposed to. But when they got to checking, the lock nut on the Pastures side was only, you could loosen it with your finger. It wasn't tied either. Then we got to checking, and I think they call it castle nut. I think it's what it's called. So the nut's got the little notches cut in it where a cotter key goes in the hole and they can't back off. Well, they had put no cotter keys in those bolts for the nuts, so they keep the nut from backing off on the upper ball joint, and they were loose. One of the brake lines on the passenger side, I think it was the passenger side, was one. It's got a bracket. You're supposed to put a bolt in it to hold it in place on both sides. But they did the one like that on the driver's side. Passenger side, they just left the bolt out of it and didn't hook it back up, and took a zip tie, and zip tied it to the A arm, which they put new A arms on it too. And man, when Terry, the guy that looked at it with me at church, he said, "You get this work done before or after you went on that 5-hour trip to the mountains?" Well, 6 hours means we went through Georgia.
How many miles we go there?
I can't remember. Over 300. Oh, back too? Oh yeah, we probably drove that truck 500-600 miles.
At least.
Yeah.
Because going through Georgia was longer.
So we got back, me and him was on our knees Sunday morning looking at what had gone wrong. Tie rod ain't hanging straight down. And he asked me, "When did you get this work done, before or after you went on the trip?" I said, "Before." All he said then was, "God is good. God is good." And I got really emotional then, because I kept, in my mind, I knew where we'd been. I knew what we'd been involved in for the traffic and the mountains and the curves and the speed and everything running with the traffic in the interstate. And I just thought about what could have been. We could have been hurt or killed. We could have hurt or killed somebody else. But my point is, we drove it back home. I parked it. We drove to church and back Wednesday night. And when I drove to church Sunday morning, it come loose. So we almost didn't make it back home before it went out on us. So.
And two, I think we were driving along. We were past Atlanta, and we were talking about all our kids are back home, and something happened to us,
Yeah.
Because we don't have a wheel about who would take Bradley Michaela or any of that.
Which is something we got to work on.
We've been thinking about that, but I mean, who?
We've been procrastinating.
It's a big decision. Who do you leave them with?
This is true too.
Corey's always said, "Well, Mom, of course, I'm going to take care of him," but that would be a burden on him, and he's only in his early 20s, and he works. I wouldn't want to put that on him, but I know he would take care of him. But we just got to figure out.
We got to figure out what we're going to do with that situation.
Because we've always said, prayerfully, that if something happens to me and Lon, that Bradley Michaela will be with us. We all go at the same time.
Yep. A lot of people maybe think that's a selfish prayer, but
it would be selfish to leave him here.
It would. So anyway, we hope that's a long ways off, but we just wanted to share that with you. And I said I wasn't going to get into details. I told the whole story.
The devil's trying to kill us.
But anyway, I went back up there on Monday, and guy made everything right, but I let him know in the most Christ-like way I could.
You were very
that I was ticked off, and what it could have been, and his reputation was on the line, and I won't get into all the details of what we talked about, but he knew I was upset, and they made it right. They went over the truck with a fine-tooth comb after that, and I told him that if nothing else, it needs to start checking behind these guys. And the sad thing is, you know, we never had any problem with anything. But he said, I said, these new guys, you know, these guys have been working for me for 20 years. He said, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to find out. Because I wanted to bring it to his attention, one, because of us, and two, for the next person or other people's vehicles they worked on. They need to be, maybe they just got complacent and they made a mistake, but it could have been costly for us and other people in our path, and also could have been costly for his reputation, and that's their livelihood, so their business. But anyway, thank the Lord for watching over us and keeping us safe, and we sure are grateful and thankful that he did.
696 miles, about.
700 miles, might want to say.
Yep.
Wow.
That was just, that wasn't counting the riding we doing while we're in Brasstown. That was to Brasstown and back home.
Okay.
From here to Brad Becker's, to Brasstown and back home, that was just those miles. That wasn't counting what we done riding around.
I got you. And we was driving through the snow and the rain and
down that steep hill with that stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, God is good, and thank the Lord for that. And we've got them to go over the truck. Everything should be good on it now, so thank the Lord for that. The topic I want to talk about briefly tonight is supply and demand has destroyed the land. Supply and demand has destroyed the land. And what we mean by that, we were just talking about it just this past week, sitting out there in the
Sunday.
Was it Sunday?
I was sitting in the sun, or was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sitting out there in the sun. It was kind of cool. We sat in the sun where it'd be warmer, and just taking it easy. And Rob Lee and I were talking about garden and getting the garden started, and the raised beds started, and we got to talking about the way man has depleted the land and polluted the soil by all the bad chemicals and pesticides on the crops.
Also, we're talking about growing your own food.
And yeah, but what I'm saying, we try to use as much organic, you know.
Which, I mean, that's organic these days. You can't.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about far as
we try to keep it clean as possible.
Well, I had a guy call me about wanting to lease this field for me or rent this field for me, since I've already rented it from the other guy to keep anybody from using any pesticides and stuff out there. And actually called me while we were in Brasstown. Called me when I was at the motel. I think it was right after the wedding.
You called him.
Anyway, he had called me early and left a message. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but we was talking. Conversation was going okay. I wasn't gonna lease it, rent it to him, and I need to use it anyway for planting food for ourselves and whatever else we're gonna use it for. But I asked him what kind of chemicals he used. The number one thing come out of his mouth was Roundup. I said, "That's it. He done."
That made my stomach turn.
Yep, going down the road, little boy. Can't handle that. So anyway, that's what's wrong with the land today. And we went and got some. It's been several years ago. Went down to next to Brother Ardenham's way, which is probably an hour from here, and I talked to a beekeeper down there. He had corn planted in front of his house, and he was talking about he was dead against all the chemicals because it kills the bees and spray it. It drifts over on other people's property and all that. He was telling me, he said, right now with the stuff, the junk they put on that corn, they spray on that corn and stuff. If you was to let that field lay out for the next, it said it'd take a good 20 years plus for all that chemicals and poison to come out of that land if you just let the field lay out for the next 20 years.
Well, now they even put it on the seed before it's planted.
I know.
Crazy.
Roundup ready, or weed ready with Roundup on it, however you use that terminology. So when they wonder where all this cancer and stuff's coming from, got to be coming through the food. So having to make more food in a short period of time, using bad fertilizers like Roundup, pesticides, chemicals, and like I said, they depleted the soil and they polluted the soil and polluted the environment. So many of them.
Just like with Deep South Homestead, Danny and Wanda, they got that bad hay. They've been polluted with chemicals.
That graze on.
Yeah, and don't even know it. Didn't even know it. I mean, when you're getting hay from somebody, you're not expecting it to be chemically polluted.
That graze on or grass on, however you say it, is the bad chemical. They spray it on the hay. The animal eats it and contaminates the animal, and then when he poops it out and you use it for fertilizer, then you putting it right back on your own food.
Where you killing the soil too.
Yeah, well, and you're killing yourself. So just need to be mindful about that stuff. Make sure that you try to be as organic as you can, and ask questions. Ask where you get your hay from. Ask where you get your compost and all that stuff from. That's why you need to watch Perma Pastures Farm and And we tried it. We've done one 18-day compost pile. Got to get another one started. We got a cold compost pile out here going now. Actually, 2 of them.
It's breaking down pretty good.
It's breaking down pretty good. But we try to use as much like that as Billy and William and Michelle have taught us on their channel. But that's the way to go, man. Is natural. You know, make your own compost, growing your own food, and do not use that all those bad chemicals and poison that they're using on all the other crops around here.
The cold compost we got is like for all during the year we put stuff in it, so it'll be breaking down. But then when we really need it, we'll
18 days.
Speaking of compost, I went to
Walmart.
We went to Walmart yesterday because I got another
green stalk.
Green stalk. I got me in that because they had them on sale because the St. Patrick's Day the green was so much off. And I hadn't ever had one that's the leaf planter. I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna put some strawberries in it anyway, and I need some soil for it. And we went to look for soil, and we started off on this end. What was it?
$8.97.
12. Well, some of them was 12,
yeah,
15.
Some of them was $15 for like 1.5 cubic feet. Of it.
And we kept on going, and towards the end there was some. Was it Miracle Grow?
Yeah, it was 5.
It was in the orange bag, and because we had got some orange in the orange bag last year, it wasn't Miracle Grow, but it was what we used. And
it was what they call organic.
Last year it wasn't.
It was on that.
But anyway, I looked at because the orange bag is what drew me down there, and I looked at the sign and there was 2 on it. I said, "Dog, that other number must be flew off of there."
That's what I thought.
I said, "Cause I know that ain't $2." Well, I got my Walmart app and I scanned it. I said, "Lon, it is $2 a bag, and it's how many 2 cubic feet?" Or
1.
It's 1.
Yeah.
$2, and the one right beside it, we could get what?
3, either 4 for what that costs.
Yeah,
that's
for
$2. That was like almost $6 a bag for the other one.
I think it was $8.90 something.
Was it?
Anyway.
That wasn't 1.5 cubic feet. And the one we got was 1 for $2.
You can't even get the Walmart cheap dirt. This is
now we know that's still not as good as doing it yourself.
When they say organic, you have to be careful, but it's better than the alternative.
But we don't have a lot of compost made right now. We're gonna be working on it now.
Well, we don't need a lot as far as we got our beds in. We just need to
for the green stalks and
amend.
Yeah.
The topsoil, which I got some worm castings too, our own worm castings. We ain't never shown y'all our worms, have we?
No, we got to show them our worms.
Anyway, and I'm gonna use some of that, but I just needed it for the green stalk. That's why we really went to get it.
Yeah.
So, and we come up on that, and why not?
Yeah.
$2 a bag. That's about like when we found the fruit trees last year.
Yeah, that was a good deal. We jumped all over.
Yeah. So if you got any Walmarts around, check it out.
Yeah.
I know you got a Walmart.
Huh?
I know they got a Walmart.
But to wrap this up, back when we were growing up, when I was growing up helping the local farmers around here, they wouldn't spray those red weeds and stuff. They had us out there pulling red weeds. We pull them up by the root. I've always said if you want to get to the root of the problem, get down to the root of the problem, you got to pull the root up out of the ground. And or take care of the problem, you got to get to the root of it. And that's what we've done. We walked those hot fields in the summertime. I remember going down through there, the dirt would be so hot, you'd have to walk close up under the edge of the beans where the little bit of shade was, keep from scorching your feet, even if you had tennis shoes on or any kind of shoes on. Most time we was out barefooted, though. We didn't wear no shoes back then. But we would pull weeds, and that was when you had young people that would actually work, unfortunately. And a lot of them still will, but most of them won't anymore. Matter of fact, now the government's got everybody spoiled with giving them all this free stuff. You can't get anybody to work, young, middle-aged, or old. But we used to pull those weeds. And another thing I realized here lately, when I talked to that guy that wanted to rent the land, and time he said Roundup, I'm like, we don't mess with none of that stuff, and told him about how to run off in that pond and kill some of the fish and stuff. And he wanted it. Yeah, he said I can't blame you, but But people look at you like you're crazy though, because you don't want to use the bad chemicals. You want to use what's healthy, as healthy as you can.
Like we were saying, to his defense, the farmer's defense, he said he couldn't. The farmer can't afford not to do it because they got to produce so much. Because us lazy don't want to grow our own food.
Yeah.
You know.
Supply and demand has destroyed the land. Right.
Back in the day, each homestead provided for themselves, so they didn't have to worry about making such a big commodity to feed people because everybody was feeding themselves. But now
everybody just wants to go to the big box store.
Man is so lazy that they just want it now and instant. So that's pushed the farmer to have to push out more. And
so for him to push out more, he has to use the bad chemicals, make it grow quicker, and the bad chemicals
to get somebody to pull the weeds because you got to have it now, quick. So to the farmer's defense, but if
we're not bashing farmers here on this video at all. We love our farmers.
We got to have the farmers.
We love our farmers. Without the farmers, we don't have no food.
They're just doing what they can to get the food out to the people. I don't know if it would be worse to starve to death or have a chemical in your food.
But there are still some, because the one that Brother Art told us about. But he told us about a farmer down there. If I think of his name, I may put his name on there. It really don't matter.
We were talking about the wheat that I got from Brad Beckers, and he was talking to her about it. He was talking about trying to get, because he farms some, not a lot, I don't think, but
he was saying about his corn.
He was talking about he could get, maybe they could get together and try to do some wheat.
Yeah, but
he was saying, wondering how much it took to make a bucket of wheat or whatever. Right.
He was willing to plant some the right way.
To see.
Yeah, and see how it worked. But he said he planted corn, he didn't put the bad stuff on it.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, does he, I was kind of inquiring, because I know when they say they get corn, I'm thinking corn's bad. Corn's bad,
Yeah.
Corn's always been bad in my mind after I watched Doug Kaufman, you remember?
Yep.
He said all of it was contaminated, but I keep asking people that when they talk about corn, I'm like, isn't corn bad?
So what he say he done though? Remember he said he planted extra.
He said, people ask him, well, don't you have, because he don't put chemicals on it. And they ask him, don't you have problems with worms on it? He said, well, worms got to eat too. He said, I'll just cut off that end and eat the other end, So
that's the kind of man I like dealing with.
You got to share.
Yeah.
That's just like with the hay. My horses don't care if the hay's got weeds in it.
No.
I mean, I'd rather have the natural. Give me the natural, and they don't care if they've got weeds.
Well, horses and all these other animals, they've survived all these many years in history to where we are now without all that stuff.
And to the hay farmers' defense, they do that because the customers
supply and demand.
Well, they want it
and they want
nice
that
and
manicured.
green and lush.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't want no weeds in their hay.
That's about like all these eggs you see on Instagram, all these pretty eggs with no poop on them, and that ain't right. We ain't
very seldom come an egg out from under. I mean, even if you put fresh hay under there, they're gonna sit in it with something on their foot, or it's just almost.
That's not the way it really is.
You come in my house and look at my egg basket, and you're gonna see some poop on the egg. Yeah. I wipe the big stuff off, but
the big stuff, get the heavy stuff off.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I'm glad to know there is still people like that. I would gladly buy what he grew.
Even if I had to pay more for it. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just.
So I know we're probably not the only ones on here that feel that way. Leave us some comments below on what you think about using the natural / organic and not using pesticides and poisons and Roundup and all that stuff. But Robert Lynn's right. If people would go back to growing their own food, they would not have to depend, or the farmer wouldn't have to do what he does for the supply and demand issues to make it right now. And feed everybody, because people lazy won't do it their own self. Yeah, that's
like
good.
I said, we're not bashing the farmers.
No, we got to have the farmers. Yeah. We love the farmers. We support them all we can. And like I said, a lot of them are just doing what they got to do to survive, because there's so many people that won't work and grow their own food. They got to supply it for them somehow.
They got to work. They got to make a living too.
We love our farmers. I support the farmers about like I support our veterans. I support them too. I've never been served in the military, but I support and respect everyone that has. And the same way with the farmers. So I work for farmer. My family wasn't farmers, but I worked for my cousins were. I worked for them some, and other guys in the community, me and my brother and different cousins and all. We worked crop tobacco with them and pull red weeds and just whatever they needed to do.
Mop them?
Well, that didn't come along until later. They did start mopping them with that poison. But it was after we done got older. But when we were younger, they didn't do any of that. They pulled the red weeds out the ground. And
I did, I heard a lady talking about this one time on YouTube. I don't know who it was. I can't remember her name. Anyway, she said it's hard to do anything organic.
Yeah.
And to some of the farmers' defense, if they tried to go organic, a lot of them, and the farmer down the street is not organic, guess where all those pests are going to go?
Yeah.
If the other farmers are spraying and they're not,
they come into the guy that's going organic.
That's what she said about her fruit trees. She don't spray her fruit trees her neighbors all around do, so all the pests, her fruit trees.
So her neighbors are running the pest off, and they come to the lady that ain't got.
So it's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard, but just
that's
the best
why,
of our ability, you know, we should try to keep our land clean.
That's why it would be good if you lived like the Amish. You lived in a community where everybody thought the same way.
If everybody would pull together.
Yeah.
In one mind and one accord.
Like it says in the
Right,
Bible.
preacher?
Amen. Preach on, sister.
I guess you have to do the best you can and live as clean as you can and take, I mean, we're supposed to take care of God's creation.
Oh, yeah.
But I know it's hard, but
we are
do the best we can and let God take care of us.
We're the keepers of the land, that's for sure, the husbandry.
Stewards of the land.
Yeah. But, and two, with all that being said, I still believe that's where most of the sickness, cancer, and disease and stuff's coming from.
Which, after the garden, the land was cursed.
Well, that's true, but you never, it's been cursed since then, but what I'm saying, you didn't hear it seem like as much. Back when I was growing up, unless you smoked cigarettes or chewing back, you didn't get cancer. That was pretty much a rule of thumb. You could go by that. But now,
man is destroying the earth.
Yeah, so supply and demand has destroyed the land. So leave us some comments below on what you think about this, or what you think about the chemicals and growing your own food and supply and demand. Just any thoughts you may have, we greatly appreciate them. Got anything else?
Like I said, we're not bashing anybody, because you know, as early as when we stayed on Harmony Hall, remember, you got people to come and spray for those ants.
Yeah. And
I didn't until I got into Doug Coffin probably turned me on to a lot of stuff, but once I found out all the bad stuff, I was like, oh.
Well, she started digging in and found out they were organic ways, homemade remedies you could mix up to take care of even fine ants.
Or just move, you know, burn
just
them.
Run them off and burn them. Don't do like my granddaddy used to do. He used to go and pour gasoline on top of all of them, burn them out.
There's hardly any way to get rid of fire ants, really.
Yeah.
Even if you spray for them, they come back anyway. But I can't. You ask him if somebody talks about a chemical or something.
All these chemtrails through the air makes me so mad.
I know you can't live.
And you can be riding down the road and see them out there spraying. You can smell that stuff. I try to hold my breath when I'm riding through that till I get to the other side.
Remember when they used to spray cotton in the airplanes?
Yeah, crop duster. They still do that around here. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just...
We'd rather use our chicken poop, rabbit poop, and cow and horse manure and goat poop and all that.
That's how bad it is. We got is it Terminex? Anyway, we got a contract
pest control
with the pest control, because we had to have the with this wooden house, we had to have
termite protection and all.
They probably, when they had to come in the house the first time for inspections and stuff, they've been in my house one time since then, and we've been here how long? Since 17?
But he claims all that stuff's safe, but I don't trust that. But
remember the last time he came, it was because of ants.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not.
Well,
but he assured Lon, this is not. It won't hurt the animal. It won't, anyway, he said it would. And I only let him put one little trap in there, a trap, not spray stuff. I do.
Yeah, we don't go that. We just don't go that way. We just don't.
They don't. I don't let them come in my house and spray. They spray outside for the Is it term? I don't know what it is.
Mainly termites.
It's supposed to be.
They spray right here like for spiders and stuff like that too. But
they're supposed to have gone to what you call it? Some kind of
something that's supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
To humans and animals, but not pests. But
I know we can't let the termites eat our.
We don't let them come in no more. We got them no more. We have to.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But for insurance purposes, you have to keep the termite thing on.
That's true. So. Let us know what you think about the videos. Any comments you have on what we talked about.
We just babbled on and on tonight, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Well, we like sitting a spell with y'all. I hope y'all like sitting.
We sat a spell, didn't we?
I hope y'all like sitting a spell with us. So, I think that's all I wanted to mention on this one. But we'll let you know about we'll post when we're going to have our live chat. Like I said, we got revival coming up this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I didn't even think about that. You said something earlier, but thank Mr. Tom, Miss Sherry Wilson again from Coffeyville, Kansas, as well as Jason and Jesse. And what it was?
Yep.
Wright Family Homestead from Missouri. We appreciate all the mail, the seeds, the candy, the cross, the stickers, the hot plate, everything. We appreciate everything y'all send us.
Coffee. Maybe next time on here I'll have.
Be sipping on some of that Coffeeville coffee. And we'll show you some of those sunflowers and zinnias growing out there maybe once.
Not that fast.
No, I'm not on the next one. I'm talking about in the future. Yeah. But I gotta go. She's gonna get high on that coffee. She'll be snorting that coffee. But love and appreciate you. Until next time, remember, Jesus Christ loves you. And Jesus Christ is the answer for any and everything we're dealing with in life. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week.